Hello and welcome to a Carbon Turk video. This video is a response for the fans of God Gave Lamster, Divergent, Martin Letke or Flat Earth British, Roger Spur of Roger Spur Matfossil University, What the Flock TV, John Levi, My Lunch Break, Jared Boosters, and 1,000 others. For example, J Dreamers is not in the list, but he's up there. Of course, who can forget our MCO creator, Brian Austin Lambert. This is for you, people. Since you have been awakened by the heroes on your screen, you have some idea that our world is not what it seems. You have some idea that our history is not what we have been taught. You have some idea the current paradigm that they have indoctrinated us with is not real. The question is, these people have reached the limits of what can be learned with current conventional thinking. So these people are breaking down our world, but it is not bringing an explanation as to why, how, who, when, etc. I am here to offer you an alternative explanation. When you truly understand what I am offering you as an alternative, then you will realize everything that you have dismissed before will have something to play. For example, the holy books, the trio of Torah, Bible, and Quran. And you will also start to understand Vedas, Vimanas, aliens, Anunnaki. You will all understand this. You will understand the magic that they performed, how and why they performed. Who were the alien-like creatures in those ancient writings? You will understand them too. You will understand what they are talking about as 7 realms in Muslim world. 7 realms. Okay, these are big claims. Truly, if not global, they are universal claims. And I, Carbon Turk, will bring you a smidgen of light for you to shine onto darkness that our history, that it is. And you will start seeing the reality at the end of that tunnel. The sad and ironic thing to all of this is that this reality is in plain sight. Literature explaining this is available to everyone, telling us what it was, and yet we have been blinded by a totally fake paradigm. We don't see what is in front of our eyes. I think that is what they meant. It's for the seeing eyes only, not the looking ones. It is for the understanding ears only, not the ones that just hear. Are you ready, people? Here we go, or here I go. These civilizations that was before us, forget Sumerians, forget Babylonians, forget Akkadians, Persians, Carthaginians, forget Athenians, forget Greeks, Romans, forget South American, African, and Asian civilizations. They were not civilizations. The real civilizations are something totally, utterly, absolutely, and completely different matter. In the words of English literature, in the sentences of English literature, they ask the question, what is your metal? They are not asking what metal are you from. No. Since you are not metal, is not what they are asking you. They are asking you what is your creation material when they say what is your metal. It doesn't mean a man with the balls, man with the heart, a man with the strength. No. It is not a mark of bravery or strength or heroism. It is about what you are made of. That is what is at the very basic end of everything. If you are looking for human history, human, what's the word? Development, human evolution, you look at our creation material. You don't look at bullshitted holy books and bullshitted historical books and chronologies, concocted chronologies. Wasn't it the Napoleon who said, history is a set of lies, meaning a number of lies, a number of units, groups, numbers that we all agree on it, meaning we agree to continue to lie because of those lies that had been told before us. We will continue. We will ensure the continuity of those lies. We all agree to it, and we call it history. However, when we read history, not from the pen of the victors, but when we read the history from the pens or writings of philosophers, then suddenly we see there is a different reality. It is the professors, it is the knowing people of old. They told us the truth. The philosophers told us the truth. From Ovid's Metamorphoses to Machiavelli's Prince, we know that they told us. They informed us of our future and of our nature. They informed us of our beginning and the end, and theirs too. They have given us names. In return, we have given them names. They weren't like us. Well, yet they were like us, but they were not flesh and bone. Our enemy, said the Essenes in their Red Sea or Dead Sea Scrolls, Nag Hammadi papers, in Essenes' writings, or in the Book of St. Thomas, they have told us the truth. Our enemy is not flesh and bone, they said. What does that mean? Let's dig into it. Our enemy, well, humans' enemy is other humans, not the monsters, not the dragons, snakes, lizards, lions, tigers, bears. They are not our enemies. We never saw them as enemies. We saw them as dragons. We saw them as monsters. We saw them as animals. We did not see them as monsters. So, when they were describing our enemy is not flesh and bone, they were describing a kind of man that did not have the same flesh and bone as ours. Nevertheless, they were flesh and bone of a different kind. Once upon a time, apparently, said It is elementary, my dear Watson. It is elementary, meaning it is very simple, my dear Watson. Very simple. Well, I'm going to rephrase that. You are all being Mr. Watsons, woken up to reality by the people on your screen. Now hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. It is elemental, my dear Watsons everywhere. It is elemental, not elementary, not basic, but elemental at the very heart of the atom itself. The elements. Those who were described as not flesh and bone enemies were humans of a different kind of biology. If you ask me what biology, well, you already know it. They wrote, didn't they? Didn't they say ashes to ashes and dust to dust? They told us there are men made out of dust of this earth, and then there are men made out of ash, or rather one man made out of a particular material that turned to dust, and another man made or created from a different material that turned to ash. When I dug into it, Carbon Turk have discovered those who turned to dust were basically created from the very raw material, very element known as silicon or silicium in French-speaking countries. Silicon people, silicons, or siliciums, silicium people. When these people died, oxygen interacted with the dead silicon or inactive silicon, expired silicon, petrified it, turned it to stone. The beings, humans, such as Adam and Eve, and if you believe in Quranic pages, it says, the God says, there is no difference between Adam, the first creation of mine, nor Jesus. Have any difference in between them, because I created them from the same element, from the same material. When they die, they will turn to dust. They will turn to stone first, petrify, and crumble away to turn to dust. Eventually mix some carbonic stuff in the air, fall onto the face of the earth, mix with liquids, and become life-giving soil. Turns into plantations, farms, orchards. What about the other that turned into ash? That is us, people. Our ancestor Adam was created from element silicon/silicium. We, the carbons, are created from element carbon. We are carbons. First creations were from element silicon. Silicon was their material. Mud, clay, dust, and stone and rocks of this earth was their ultimate destiny. Their gigantic, incredibly small sometime bodies created our land, our terra. According to biblical explanations, creation account, according to the arrival of Enki, one of the first pioneering Anunnakis who arrived on the planet Earth, they described as an empty, desolate, dark, cold, lonely place. It is they who turned this world into a livable place. And how did you think they did that? How did you think the God who tells us in the creation accounts how he created the earth. He doesn't. He just says, oh, the God created the earth and the stars afterwards. Here it is, the explanation. The God created silicon life forms first. Siliconic atomic structure, apparently it is very crystalline and locks into place, turn into stone. You see, solid mass of stone. This allowed for gigantic, absolutely titanic life forms to become of those. Since these titanic beings did not have to consume anything like we have to, they were fed with the rains and oxygen in the air and atmospheric gases and stuff from underground. They became the plane. They became the terra livable. We, the carbons, are the last creation. After 5 previous elemental ages, we are the humans of carbon age. Our age is carbon age. All life forms are carbon-based life forms. And our end is not to turn into dust or mud or clay. We are to turn into ashes first, and then guess what? Very basic, very essential raison d'etre, existential reason, that we will turn into diamonds. We will indeed turn into diamonds. Don't have any confusions, any kind of confusing notions. We are diamond material, people. All this reality is buried in our languages we speak today. Apparently, 63 languages have all of this truth. The reality, the absolute reality of our past is hidden. We have been told of this event. The biblical event known as the Tower of Babel, tells us 2 outcomes. Both of them are absolutely age-ending, age-starting events in themselves. In one of them, God supposedly punishes humans while reducing their lifespan and minimizing it or maximizing it at 120 years. This is a crystal clear message of a change of age. One age where human beings lived up to 1,000 years has come to an end, and there's a new age whose creatures, humans for example, live a maximum of 120 years. The other outcome of this Tower of Babel incident is that human language, which was only one language throughout the world, was no more. Suddenly you had 63 new languages. Human beings could not communicate from one end of the world to another anymore. They all spoke different languages. Meaning what exactly? Here Carbon Turk explains. I say, the truth, the absolute truth of the time of humans, of our evolution, of our history, was divided into 63 pieces or segments, and divided into newly created 63 languages. Basically, the truth is divided into 63 pieces and spread among 63 different locations, 63 with different geographies, whatever you decide on that. Let me give you a few examples of these 63 pieces. When put together, will explain to us our absolute history and our beginnings and our evolution. For example, in English-speaking world, they say, you are a diamond geezer. You are a diamond person. You are a diamond male. But they never use this term for females. Because females are golden girls, not diamonds. Only boys are diamonds. Of course, what is the message behind it? Behind this is the message of the importance of polarities. The differences between supposed differences between men and women, male and female species, is used to denote, to conceal or to hide or to code in the truth that the polarities are the essence in everything that has difference, negative or positive polarities. This is also clearly explained in Kybalion, 7 rules of the universe, 7 laws of universe, yeah, correspondence, vibration, all of these. This is one of them, polarities. Let's continue. They also said other things, yes. They said, what is your metal? They asked, what is your metal? Yes, indeed, what is your metal? Today, this term is understood as do you have balls, young sir? Do you have the bravery? Do you have the heart? Do you wear your heart on your sleeves? Have you got the balls to rebel, to challenge? That's what it means, apparently. Well, it isn't. It is asking you your metal. What is your material? Now, in carbon age, we can answer, all of us. 8.5 billion of us can unison answer this question. What is your metal? We are carbons. Excuse me, sir, we are all carbons. Excuse me, madam, we are carbons. Madame et monsieur, dames und herren, signores et signores, madame et mademoiselle, monsieur, madame, mademoiselle, all of you, we are all carbons, we are all same. Whether you are black or brown or blue or green or yellow or red or white, doesn't really matter. You are carbon. You may be Chinese, American, Russian, Turk, Greek, Arab, Palestinian, I don't give a shit. African, doesn't matter. Asian, Chinese, doesn't matter. You are one goddamn product of one goddamn material. Carbon. Your lifespan is limited to 120 years. You live a desperate life. You live a very short life. You struggle all your life. You struggle to be alive, to stay alive. You struggle to survive. You live like a vermin. You look like you live like a bacteria. You live like a germ. You are constantly under attack from everything. Why? Indeed, why? Well, because you are a very special product. All religions say that the man, God's ultimate creation. And it is. And we are. Only the carbon man is the most special creation in the universe. Why indeed? Because carbon man turns to diamond to keep the memory of this universe and these ages. Where shall I tie this? Well, God creates everything from silicon first. Their remains, their carcasses, their skeletons petrify, solidify, and turn to stone. And they create the terra, the land, the place that we dwell on, the land. 4 other elemental ages later. Yes, indeed. It starts with the Silicon Age. They tell us about it without any fear, because they do not think we will one day decipher the reality. You see, all you have to do is simply replace the word stone with silicon. Silicon Age, not Stone Age. Yes, indeed, everything eventually turned to stone. Yes, indeed, it's a Stone Age. But stone itself is not an element. It is just a byproduct of something. It's a product of something. And that something is silicon. You see, they should have correctly named that age as Silicon Age or Silicium Age. Let's continue. After Silicium Age or Silicon Age comes other ages. We are the Carbon Age being the last. So there are 4 different ages, 4 elementally different ages. You see, what you are created from, it gives you what you are, makes you what you are, how long you live, how big you are, how small you are, how clever you are, how intelligent you are, how creative or destructive you are. Your material gives you that. When you are from a particular element that has extremely high atomic clock speed, you become like aliens. You can build 1,000 pyramids under the stars. Thousands of years later, no one can understand. They stand still. They still stand after the floods of Noah and fires of hell all over the place, and they still stand upright. Who built those? How they built them? Why did they build them? Today in 21st century, we consider ourselves smart, the ultimate products of ultimate civilization, the most developed human civilization ever. We send rockets to the moon. We send, other stuff to Mars and Jupiter. And India just sent a rocket to moon and another rocket to the sun. Here we go. What a fucking yalan. Yalan means lie. Yes, indeed. Coming back to languages and 63 pieces of the truth. In Turkish language, we say things like red day, crescent sky, and iron ground. Think about it. The soil is iron-like, hard. The sky is crimson red. We say kızıl gün. Don't underestimate the Turkish language. Most of your Asian names are Turkish. And we have used terms, today you would think we are talking out of our asses. Turks talk about sky Turks, historical Gök Turks, sky effing Turks. Where do you get this idea, sky Turks? Oh well, Ezekiel can go up with God and Turks cannot? Who took up Ezekiel, Enoch, and Elijah and others up into the sky to God's realm? Wouldn't he take Turks up into the sky and give them the name Gök Turks, that is, sky Turks? Explain this to me. How come Turks name crimson skies and iron ground, that is iron planet, iron soil, ground, iron earth? What's happening here? There are a million others like this. Well, 63 of them in truth. 63 sentences? I have no idea. 63 items like bullet points? I don't know. For example, a number of them I have already mentioned. Diamond geyser. What is your metal? Crimson sky. Gökturks, that is sky Turks. When did ever Turks become skyborn? You see, these are all secrets in our history. Everything is connected to just one thing, one word, elements, or two words, elemental evolution. Sequentially, we have 6 elements. These are collectively, scientifically known as carbon group of elements. Every element in our carbon group of elements seems to form the basis of life at various ages in our world. It starts with silicon. It ends with carbon. It doesn't follow the numbering in the carbon group of schematics. Let me satisfy your curiosity as to the penultimate civilization, or the civilization before the carbon age. The ones that I believe constructed, literally, knowingly, consciously planned and constructed most of our cities and our habitat in this world. They created buildings, cities, towns for us. They built our world for us. However, what did they not count in, I think, was the elemental effects of our creation material. I am not sure if it was a deliberate decision, calculated risk-taking, or it was just a laissez-faire. They did not care. Just like us, building a dog shed in our garden for our dog, and then hoping he'll be all right in the snow and rain. So, penultimate civilization before us, before our civilization, were known with these kind of names. Aryans, Teutonics, Visigoths, Vikings, Atlanteans, Supreme White Man. Who were these? They were the Germaniums. When you look at this name in historical maps, you will sometimes see Germania Grand or Big Germania. What gave them away for me or to me was the ignorance displayed by the world-conquering Romans towards these people. I read in some history books, it said, Romans regarded the people at the other end or other side of the Elbe River as barbarians. The world-conquering empire did not want to conquer these people. Why not indeed? Well, they could not conquer these people. They were far too strong, far too violent, far too advanced. To deter anyone from the Roman Empire world going and seeing and discovering the secrets of these people, Romans branded them as true barbarians. You must never cross the Elbe River and get into their territory, starting with Black Forest. They were dark, dangerous, weird people. They were barbarians, you see? Well, they weren't barbarians. They were carbons who were sitting on the technology left over from the previous Germanium civilization. How can I be sure? Well, years later, the father of German rocket technology, long before von Braun's, there was a guy called Hermann Oberth. He was one day asked a question. How did the Germans manage to get up again after being beaten in every big major war? His answer was unbelievable. We have received help. Considering the Germans were the most advanced nation or state or people for a very long time, let's say 200 years of our past, Germans were the supreme in technology. So who could have been more advanced than Germans for Germans to receive help from? You see, at the time, the rage was UFOs and aliens. So everyone thought, Atlanteans, what are those star systems? You know what they are. Pleiadians, Nordics, blah, 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 blah. No. Germans have discovered under their cities, above their cities, a technology, an infrastructure unlike anything anywhere our carbon humans have built. And they sat on it. When they need it, they use this technology. They share the technology with Ottoman bandits, my ancestors, supposed ancestors. They shared the technology with them. They produced weaponry to supposedly knock down the walls of Constantinople. Of course, that's the Bush's story, but the story, the basics is there. I believe these germaniums disappeared 1080 years ago. 1080. Where do I get this number from? Well, I personally discovered this story of apocalypse is only 300 years old, meaning apocalypse takes place in our world every 360 years. 10 times 360 makes 3,600 years. There is your answer to Anunnaki calamity, known as return of Nibiru, and the subsequent destruction in our world, which forces even the supreme gods, the Anunnaki, to scatter and escape our world, the destruction. Basically, there are two kinds of cataclysms in our world. The big one happens every 3,600 years. The small one happens every 360 years. 3 times 360 years previous takes us to 1,080 years. In these last since 1,080 years, 3 cataclysms took place, during which most of the truth had been buried, during which everything has been changed, during which this 1,000 years explained with fake history. The void 1,000 years of 3 small cyclical cataclysms, which takes place every 360 years, caused us to lose 1,000 years for our elites who realize what's going on, to create a fake paradigm filled with conquest of West and East and discovery of Americas and Australias and all this kind of bullshit. Germaniums. Let's go back to germaniums. Our entire habitat world today contains germanium infrastructure. Every palace, every mosque, every synagogue, every church, every temple, every pagoda in the world was built by germaniums. It has been 3,590 odd years since carbons came to existence. That is us. And our age is coming to an end, 100%. Don't doubt that. The cycle will continue. And before us, there was 3,600 years of germanium age. We met germaniums. Carbons met germaniums. They are the ones with technology. They are the ones with architecture. They are the ones with language. They try to train us. They try to teach us. They try to explain to us. They try to prepare us for the coming apocalypse of our own, carbon apocalypse. Because they knew they were going to experience their own germanium apocalypse. How did they tell us about it? Very simple. They said, this world will be inherited by the meek. Meek. Who were the meek? Well, same people were also called the flock, the sheep, the goyim, the beast, the 666. Yes, indeed. 666 is the number of element carbon. Element carbon, they described as human, carbon humans as the beast. Why were we the beast? We weren't monsters. Beast simply meant the primitive one, the ilkel one. Not ilkel, that's Turkish language. Or there was another word. Lulu amalu, the primitive laborer. Lulu amalu, amala, amele. This is a word for laborers in Arabic, in Turkish, in Middle Eastern languages. Amalu, amala, amele, lulu. They said these Lulu, Amalu will inherit this earth. These primitive people will inherit the earth. Why were we beasts? Well, carbons need nutrition. Carbons need to energize themselves by consuming of foodstuffs, nutrition. We have to eat, drink, and defecate and urinate. We create dirt. Why did my music stop? Indeed, play. You understand? They did not eat, drink, consume stuff, shit, and piss, and urinate, and defecate. They didn't create dirt, and stink, and consume stuff. This is for the carbons. These people energize themselves with cymatic technologies. The entire world was covered in a supreme infrastructure. Everything was connected. Everybody was connected. We, the carbon humans, are non-conductive, electromagnetically non-conductive beings. Only little bit of conductivity comes from the water within our bodies. Other than that, we are not conductive. Whereas germaniums, being an metallic and conductive element-based biology, allowed them to receive and send signals through the air. They receive their energies and their daily dose of whatever they needed via the air, transmitted through the churches, mosques, synagogues, pagodas, temples, That is what we name them as today. They were never named as mosques or designated as mosques or built as mosques or churches or pagodas. They were gigantic transformers or storage facilities or distribution or transmission facilities of the energies, the instructions, the germanium civilization needed. And how do we know this? Well, cymatic technologies, which the guys on your screen are trying to explain to us via showing us these remnants of archaeology and history and what happened, what transpired before us. You have ley lines, energy grids on the surface of our world. It seems they have utilized these to its full extent, exploited every nuance of every technology they ever understood. Cymatic technologies, sound technologies, light technologies, vibrational, frequential, sequential, I don't know, consequential technologies, scalar technologies. They could. If there ever was spiritualism, Germaniums are the only beings that could fully spiritualize. That is, full connection with our universe, with our skies, with our atmosphere, with our earth. They could feel your pain from thousands of miles away. Why? Because the vibrations in the air transmitting your pain, your words, your thoughts. And since they are electromagnetic, since they are conductive, they received every signal produced by any means. And of course, being germaniums, they didn't have to fight for existentialism. They didn't have to fight for existence. You can find them in their music. The music we know as classic, baroque, and all those terminology, that rich, incredible music, chamber music, for example, all of these were producing incredible frequencies to help the germaniums live their life. Whereas our classic music seems to be an ode to bygone era, crying behind an incredible civilization that produced our world for us. They openly said it. This world will be inherited by these carbons. They called us the meat. We were the beast. In support of all this germanium idea, ask yourself, how come if we, carbons, have been in this place for thousands of years, how come we did not have any toilets, any sewer systems, anything that would deal with human effluent in all over the world? Why don't we find these fantastic bathrooms, toilets, where you can piss and urinate and defecate? Why don't we find them? Yeah, you find some Greco-Roman remnants in Greece and Turkey and places like this. It looks like a public toilet, hole in the ground. So basically you are there telling us, everybody sitting, smelling each other's shit and fart and saying, oh, what dinner did you have last night? Can you imagine this happening? It's not happening. That is why you don't find toilets and stuff, related stuff, architecture-wise in Europe or in the world. You have French palaces with 1,000 goddamn rooms, and then the sad discovery that they don't have any toilets. But they didn't. Now they have. Well, they were not built by carbons. They were built by germaniums who did not need the services of a bathroom or a lavatory or a toilet. So they did not build them. Simple, isn't it? What did carbons do instead? Well, they decided to create a pot, piss pot, shit pot. They had to piss and shit into this pot and then throw it out of the window in the mornings. And then they came up with the term. He doesn't have a pot to piss in, meaning he doesn't have a single penny. He's poor. He doesn't have a pot to piss in. Everybody had to have their own pot to piss and shit in because there were no toilets in the world. Then you would ask, why? Well, because there was no need for toilets and bathrooms for a very long time. It is only the carbons that piss and shit and urinate and defecate. It's only the carbons that scream for food and cry, especially when they have no language. In Anunnaki Chronicles, there is this bad guy called Enlil. He's screaming, I want to exterminate these humans because they don't let me sleep. Why not? Well, they are crying and screaming and yelling. Since they don't have any language, humans can only yell and scream, yes? Because they are hungry. Humans are hungry. These carbons are hungry. And yet Anunnaki doesn't know they don't know how to eat. They don't eat. You know, in Anunnaki Chronicles, you come up with a secret. These Anunnaki love barbecue smell. Whenever someone is grilling some meat, these Anunnaki come round like flies, in Zachariah Sitchin's words, and in elsewhere as well. When they smell barbecue, these Anunnaki gather around, but not to eat. In the words of, rest in peace, Gerald Clark, a big writer, thinker in my book, he woke me up to many realities. Rest in peace, he passed away in young age. He said, I discovered barbecue smoke creates or reforms as molecules of make you happy drugs, make you happy hormones. The hormones make you happy, the smell. But it does have the same effect on humans. When we see grilled meats, when we smell grilled meat, you know, barbecue, we go, yes. Because it's creating be happy molecules in our brain. That's what they came for. Not to eat the barbecue. It wouldn't be enough as a snack for them. Gigantic beings. What is half a cow for them? Nothing. Germaniums, the supreme whites, the Atlanteans, the Pleiadians. Yeah, germaniums. You may ask, what happened to them? Because we are finding the skeletons, petrified, turned to stone skeletons of our ancestors, which were the silicons. All the way from Adam to Jesus, including Jesus, they were created from element silicon. When they died, they turned to stone, crumbled away, turned to dust, mixed with some other stuff, turned to mud and clay and soil of this earth. What about germaniums? Well, what happened to germaniums is buried in Bible's pages somewhere. In these sentences, you will find the answer. There were two men working in the fields. Let's say two farmers working in the fields, two neighbors. They've got neighboring fields, they are working away. Suddenly one of them flies up to reach God. And the other one continues to work. Or this is also explained in the rapture literature. When skies open up, and those who deserve fly up into the sky to meet their God. Those unbelievers, unfaithful, will remain on the earth and suffer their fate. Yes, look, these people were magnetized and sucked up into the air. I can't tell you where they've gone, I don't know. But I have a slight inkling they went to mix into the other metals in the head of a gigantic child who is actually 13.5 billion years old and whose brain cell or whose snap, that is our Earth, is only 4.5 billion years old, apparently. So this 4.5 years old child's brain, or sorry, 13.5 years old child's brain and body producing and processing loads of elements and materials like ours do. Like our liver processes metals and especially iron, element iron. Iron molecules what is at work in our liver, for example. It's just another element. Our lungs deal with another element called oxygen. Yeah, our bodies deal with elements. Same as the gigantic baby which we are living within the brain of, on one of the billions of synapses. So you can actually pinpoint, if not pinpoint, kind of have an idea, an open door to where these elemental beings come from and will go back to, return to. Basically, everything has an existential reason. Existential reason of carbons is to become diamonds, to keep the memory of our age and the subsequent ages. There is no other. I stop here to continue in my next video. I thank you for being patient in my gobbledygook, but it is what it is. You can't bend the truth. You can't break the truth. You cannot destroy or bury or alienate the truth. Truth will find us. I have been Carbon Turk. You have been you. Thanks to those powers who made us be what we are. Take care.